Hey everybody, it's Mike from Here the Watchmen. And wow, what a morning this has been. I know I'm looking a little tired, but for good reason. We are here in Dallas, Texas at the Hilton DFW. Here the Watchmen has kicked off. I have two of my favorite speakers with me right now to talk to you, L.A. Marzulli and Josh Tolley. Josh was on a panel this morning, a couples panel, and let me tell you something, folks. I have been approached by at least 50 people since that panel happened, and they are just blown away. This morning at 9 o'clock, we have, I don't know, what would you say here, like 400 people?
Easily.
Easy. And that's on a Friday morning at 9 a.m. So you can only imagine what it's going to be like tonight and tomorrow. So guys, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here at Hear the Watchmen. LA, what's happening here? What's going on for you?
Well, it's we've been sort of out of the conference mode since January. So I went home and I produced the new film, and shameless plug by the way. But
what's the name of it?
The Watchmen Chronicles in their own words. Thank you. But people come up to the table, people that we don't know, and they just thank us for what we do. My wife is obviously with me. Thank us for what we do. Talk about how the books and DVDs have changed your life. I just sit there and listen to it, and I'm humbled, blown away, and just go, Lord, I can't believe that you've raised us up to have the influence that we have. All glory goes back to the King, because I know what a scumbag I really am. So, to put it quite bluntly, I'm completely blown away by what he's enabled us to do, and the impact that we have. All the speakers, many, I mean, you don't know, we sit there, we produce these little YouTube stuff, we're on our radio shows, and we have no idea that there's tens of thousands of people that are listening.
Yeah.
And we are making an impact. And what I really hope the takeaway of the weekend is that people will be warned, built up, but warned of what's coming, what's in some ways already here, but then built up to go out and to feel bold and strong enough to go out and to share it with their pastors, share it with their friends, because we're in a window of time unprecedented.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's Jeannie and I are so humbled to be in the company of men like this and some of the other speakers that are here. We're just humbled and inspired. And to be absolutely honest with you folks, we had completely sold this conference out. But we had a little dinner last night with all the speakers, and I told them at that dinner, please don't judge the success of this conference in terms of people coming by how many people are there at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. And I walked back into that room. I was up working the registration desk, and I looked out there, and I was stunned at how many people were there. Josh, what's going on here for you?
Well, I think what this is, I was at the Hear the Watchmen in Dallas a year ago, and even, LA was talking about we're in a different time, even from a year ago.
Yeah.
We are in a completely different era than we were a year ago. And, LA was talking about how, as speakers, we get to talk to people in our shows and podcasts or whatever it is that we do. But this really allows you to meet the remnant. The remnant of believers who are not only listening and maybe trolling online, but the ones that want to do something. The ones that actually say, hey, you know what? Not only am I in agreement, but I want to be equipped. And I met a lady just before we came up. She came over to me crying, and this happens to all the speakers, but she came over to me crying saying, you're the reason I'm here. And that makes it real. And it makes it just as real for us as it does for the people who are in the seats.
Right.
Because it's one thing to talk on a camera, but it's a completely another thing to watch these people come up to you, interact with you. And I think one of the best things we do is that they go back into their real world like they're talking to their pastors, but they have some ammunition now. Because everybody in there has one common theme. Even last night at the speakers dinner, it was, man, so many believers are rejecting the truth. Believers are now calling themselves fake news. And if that's going to happen, what's going to happen next? We're calling the Bible fake news? It went from good news to fake news. Yeah. And if you don't believe that that's going to happen, it's happening right now. So for me, what Hear the Watchmen is really this opportunity to get real. I'm sure LA speaks at a lot of places. I speak at a lot of places. And a lot of them are just, you get up, you do your thing, dance a little monkey, go over there, and that's it. But this is real. which is why I'm always honored to be a part of it, and why I love people watching on the live stream too, because we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I've already gotten messages from people who watched the marriage panel live stream.
Wow.
And they're like, oh my gosh, right there, that was worth it. Just if me and my wife watch that, that's worth the price of the live stream.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, that happened to Josh. I had a guy come up to me and say, that panel was worth every penny I spent to get a ticket here, and it's gonna be worth every penny I spend to buy the DVD set. And you know, we're not in this for the money. And LA can attest to that. Josh can attest to that. We're in this to serve Jesus, you know, and we're in it for the long haul. Now, when we started Hear the Watchmen, when Jeannie and I started this, our goal was to bring the people together, to get the fellowship moving, to create a team of speakers like you guys who connect. You don't necessarily talk about the same thing. You may not necessarily agree biblically on the same things, but we wanted to bring a team together because we felt that it was necessary right now to fight the influence of the darkness. Do you think that's happening here?
Well, I think it almost has to. Really. You know, we have so many people online. One of the worst things that happened to Christianity is a keyboard.
Absolutely.
Because everybody trolls everybody else. And oh, well, you said Isaiah 53 meant this, and he said this, so I'm going to tear everybody down. And that is destroying the church from within. That's destroying the body of God. It's become a rot, where now everybody is saying everybody else is a false believer, realizing that nobody has this right until Jesus comes back and corrects us all. That's really where we need to be, saying, hey, you know what? If you think you're right, you're wrong just by the statement that you think you're right. And I think what this does is, because you've done such a great job at ignoring the trolls and saying, hey, you know what? We are going to bring people who don't necessarily say eye to eye. And we get to come and reason together. Can you imagine if the trolls had their way with Peter and Paul? Paul, you shouldn't go to that meeting with Peter, because we wouldn't even figure out who a believer is if we let trolls around in the first century. So we have to get to this point where we come and reason together. And I think because of that, a lot of us are improving in our faith, improving in our theology, and I think that's really what's happening in the world today. We're seeing a lot of people exit the church. 3 million people a year now leave Christianity. But the ones that are remaining are the strongest believers I've ever seen in my life. They're studying the Word of God for themselves. They're not just going to a 25-minute feel-good message on Sunday saying, I'm a Christian. They're actually getting into this thing. And when you dig into this thing, you find people like L.A. Marzulli. You find, wait a second, they said, what about giants? Yeah. Or whatever it happens to be. And I love that. Yeah. And that's, for me, that's what it is.
Well, I mean, I definitely tag team on what you're saying. I mean, that's exactly what's great about it is you bring a remnant of people together from a lot of different beliefs. I mean, if you lined everybody up, you'd have, you know, well, these people believe this, these people believe that, and yet we're all here together and fellowshipping, which is fantastic, and that's how it's supposed to be. You know, it's what amazes me, and I've used this on my blog as rebuttals to the trolls, but Jesus warns us, you'll know you're my disciples, you know, by how much you hate each other, how nasty you can be online, what vituperative remarks you can spout off real quickly, you know, how you can Bible thump somebody over the head till they're just a massive bleeding pulp on the floor. No. What he says is you'll know, not whether you're pre, mid, or post, or any of that. And all that's important, I get it. You'll know, they'll know, the world will know that you're my disciples by the love that you have for each other.
Yeah.
So if we, and Paul elaborates on that, if we don't have love, we're nothing but a clanging gong. That's it. Yeah. It all boils down to that. If we don't have it, I don't care what you got in your holster. You know, it's
yeah, it doesn't matter.
And there's a lot of famous clanging gongs out there lately.
Yeah, too many.
Well, guys, thanks so much for taking
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Folks,
sign up for live stream.
Yes.
Live stream. Go to hearthewatchmen.com. Get that live stream. It's only $39. You get the whole conference live plus 30 days of viewing. So,
and Josh Tolley will come over and cook you dinner.
That's right.
I mean,
he'll come over.
Better,
he'll do
right?
it. LA will bring a giant to your house. So you've really got it made. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to participate when you can't be here. John B. Wells is going to be up later today. These two are up still. Billy Crone's on right now. And if you buy the live stream right now, don't worry about it. You can see the panel that you saw this morning because you can watch it later and over and over and over again. Lives get changed here, but we can't change your life unless you come into the game. So we hope to see you folks, and thank you so much. Guys, again, thank you for being a part of the Watchmen
Great,
Report
thank
today.
you.
And we'll talk again soon. God bless everybody.